find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Newhoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Hay deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike could have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it. Medeiros
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's up to second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry.
Triple Bypass Racing is a NASCAR-inspired iRacing league founded by a group of friends, some of who have been racing together for more than 20 years. They are an inclusive group of sim racers who enjoy competition based on respect for fellow drivers and fun on and off the track. Triple Bypass is building a great community and a place for you to race for years to come. Join them today by visiting triplebypassracing.com.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Sweet Home, Alabama, right here live at Talladega, Alabama for the Talladega Superspeedway for the Drivers Appreciation 69 for the Triple Bypass Racing League. My name is the redneck announcer, Jake Reeves. Got Bradley Dalton up here in the booth with me, and obviously Dean Hopton on the controls this evening is going to give you some fantastic camera angles. And Bradley, I mean, this is actually the first time that I've had the pleasure of commentating a race for the Triple Bypass Racing, and also my first time actually broadcasting with you. So good evening to you, Bradley. But here at Talladega, this is where you let it all hang out right here. This is where you see a lot of fantastic racing, a lot of fantastic finishes, and also a lot of fantastic wrecks in general. And it's a good possibility that we're able to see every bit of that tonight. The racing, the finish, and also the wrecks. We've already seen a bunch of them wreck already in practice. Bradley had one of them actually stuck in the fence, and they was up there trying to knock him out of the fence. I guess they was just having a little fun with it. But Bradley, tell us a little bit about Talladega Superspeedway, because this place is an absolute monster.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Jacob. It's great to be here. But hey, Bill France Sr. had a crazy idea and said, I want something longer and faster than Daytona International, which is interesting. He tried to throw it in North Carolina. He tried to go to Raleigh. He tried to go to Atlanta and South Carolina. And he settled on the beautiful Lincoln, Alabama countryside for what is known as Dega. Talladega Superspeedway. It's something I know you love. It's something I love. It's something that you see heartbreak on. It's something you see success on. You see the big ones. You get the Talladega curse. There are so many things to know. Earnhardt's won here 10 times. Dale Jr.'s won here 4 times in a row. Dale Earnhardt holds the record for the most top 5s, most top 10s. Bill Elliott's here. Michael Waltrip's ran the most laps here. And we're about to see a lot of action here with the Triple Bypass Racing League. They're about to bring us some good action, and Jacob, I'm looking forward to bringing it to all the people alongside you today.
And we're ready to get it going right here and checking out the standings right here for the Gen 4 series right here. Obviously, the Driver Appreciation 69. Kyle Grisetz will be in first right now with the points. Got a pretty good lead over Marty Rogers. About a 50-point lead over him. And then right behind him, you're going to have Ben Harcum will be right behind him in the third spot for the points. He's about 14 back of Marty Rogers. You see on the screen, John Campbell. You got Cameron Kane. You got Sid Kikisian. You got Destin Barton. I mean, just numerous guys right here that you see. And one of those guys that's sitting at about that 10th spot right now, that's the number 48. That is Crutchley, John Crutchley. He's actually one of the drivers that's actually part sponsoring this race here this evening. So Crutchley, and also another one, Benson, I believe. Yes, Benson, that driver, he is also, as you see right there on the screen, the 48 and the 42, both of those drivers sponsoring this event, put up the money to try to get this bad boy in. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a fantastic, it's going to be a fantastic race. 70 laps. In the Gen 4s, I've had a lot of experience in these cars. These cars right here will absolutely fly. Folks, think about it like this. take it back to, say, the early 2000s. Go back at that range. Go back like what Bradley was saying about Dale Earnhardt Jr. winning 4 times in a row here at Talladega. Or even right after that, in the next year, 2004, when Jeff Gordon beat Dale Earnhardt Jr., and then he had a damn beer bath on the front stretch with everybody throwing beer at him, throwing cars at him. Go a couple years later, 2006, Jimmy Johnson, Brian Vickers, Dale Jr., all 3 of them going into turn 3, and Vickers ends up turns Johnson into Jr., and then they have a hell of a wreck, and then Vickers ends up getting the win. The reason I'm bringing all that up, folks, is these are the exact same model cars that those drivers drove in the early 2000s, right at the end of the Winston Cup era, and right at the start of the NASCAR Nextel Cup era. And also something that Bradley mentioned, Bill Elliott. He talked about Bill Elliott, awesome Bill from Dawsonville. He has the fastest qualifying lap here ever at almost 213 miles an hour, 212.809 miles per hour here at Talladega Superspeedway. And Bradley, I've been coming here ever since I was, knee high to a grasshopper, to be honest with you. I've been, as little as you can give for some of the viewers that don't know what that is. But, I mean, I've been very, very little coming here with my dad and a bunch of his friends, always camping right there off of turn number 3 and turn number 4, right there where I-20 is. So this track it's near and dear to my heart. It's like a second home, if you will, Bradley.
Yeah, Talladega is one of those tracks that if you're a NASCAR fan, and let's be honest, everybody's a NASCAR fan here, it is one of those tracks that you just associate with so many things here in the series. In any oval racing series that you have, there needs to be a Talladega race. That's just, it's universal. If you're running an iRacing series in a league, you have to have a Talladega race with some NASCAR cars. And of course, running these Gen 4 cars, you mentioned all the great names, Wallace, Labonte, Jarrett, Martin, Stewart, Johnson, Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon. I mean, you can name all the names that you think of when you think of NASCAR, but these cars, this track, I can go on and on and on about it. It's perfect, and 70 laps of action coming at us. It's about to be great. I've been taking a look at the lap times, though, and at the qualifying times, and we're not getting down there in those 216 mile an hour, 228 mile an hour speeds, but we're seeing 51.5 from Benson up there as our top qualifying time right now, with just a little bit of time left here. Looks like about 30 seconds left in qualifying and a few drivers left trying to find laps. I think we're set up for about 70 laps of action, and I'm going to ask you a question. I love to always ask the people I'm commentating with questions, and I am going to ask you, how long do you think till we get a big one?
How long do I think it's going to be till we get a big one? Honestly, I mean, it honestly could go either way, really, Bradley. I mean, they could run the whole 70 laps green, or they could wad them up on lap 1. I mean, I've seen it go either way, to be honest with you. Previous broadcast, I've actually seen them wad them up before they even got to the start-finish line. And then there was times where it went all the way green till with about 3 laps to go, and then right before they was going to hit the 2 to go mark, they ended up having an accident, and then they had to go through 3 green-white checkers just to get the damn thing done. And all of it was going on at Superspeedway. So only time will tell. These drivers, they got to be very patient. Even those guys back there in the back, some guys actually didn't even take a qualifying time. And that's what we're looking at right now, as there is the leaderboard, the grid right now for the Driver Appreciation 69. Jason Benson, one of those guys that we talked about for sponsoring this event, and the number 42, he will be on the pole, and right beside him will be Dustin Barton. Right behind them is going to be Jeff Slaughter, and Alex Golf will be right behind them. Then Ward Fisher and Ben Harcum is going to be in that 3rd row. Keith Handel will be in that 7th spot. And then Kyle Gerks, I believe I'm probably pronouncing that name wrong, but we need to get that name right because he is the points leader coming into tonight. He is sitting in the 8th spot on the outside of row number 4. Chad Barr will be in row number 5 on the inside, and right beside him, starting 10th, that's going to be the 117 of John Campbell.
Yeah, moving on down, William Jester and Sean Bradley, the 74 and the 77 fill up our next row. And then you get Derek Hatt and Ryan Hatt. I have a feeling they qualified together like that on purpose. And then Matthew Pericini and Misik Kishishan. And then Mike Wida and Matthew Harmon are going to keep rounding it down. Jaden Henry and Al Corey are going to bring us to the next row. We still got more drivers to go here with Ryan Murray and Grant Parker. Tell you what, it's a stacked field here today, Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely is. And, you just mentioned, Grant Parker. You got John Barton back there. John Crutchley, just mentioned him just a while ago. He's one of those drivers that actually sponsored this event with Jason Benson. Then you look at some of these other guys that's back here in the back. Mark Herzog back there with AJ Benish. Marty Rogers back there in the back, as well as Cameron Kane, Brian Cooper, and Joshua Kerner. They did not take a time. And from my experience of what I've seen in the past, if they're starting back there in the back, they're starting back there for a reason. It's not because, I guarantee you it's not because, they just didn't want to qualify. I guarantee you they wanted to qualify. They just didn't want to be up there in the middle of the pack, or they didn't want to be close to where the eye of the storm is. And that's all that Talladega really produces. A lot of that, is that eye of the storm. It's that big wreck. They call it the big one, where it's a multi-car accident that always ends up taking out about 10, 15, sometimes even 20 cars, maybe even 30 at one point. Think way, way back for some of you older NASCAR fans. Back in 2002, it was a NASCAR Busch Series race here at Talladega. It was before they repaved it. Right there on the backstretch, I believe that was Johnny Sauter in the number 2 AC Delco car, went flipping wildly down the backstretch. Then it ended up being about a 30-car pileup, and everybody was all scattered out, and there was nobody else left to finish the race. Talladega's has also produced some other crazy wrecks. Think back to Rusty Wallace, way back before that. Rusty Wallace flipping down past the start-finish line after Dale Earnhardt got into him and turned him. Rusty went flipping wildly, sheet metal going everywhere, but he was able to walk away unscathed, and Rusty never really had a good track history here at Talladega, but we will see how all this plays out over 70 laps here this evening. Jason Benson and Dustin Barton, they will be on the front row. Pace car is off, and they'll hit the Geico restart zone. Remember, folks, the start-finish line all the way down here at the exit of pit road, not like Daytona. And the green flag is flying. Jason Benson on the gas. Dustin Barton on the gas. Dustin actually gets a better jump than Jason does. He had the 0-0 of golf all up in his back bumper. Jeff Slaughter trying to see if he can shove Benson as they go into turn 1.
And as they come around turn 1, it's still 2x2. Everybody's playing nice and neat early on. Remember, here at Talladega, the draft is very, very important for the drivers here, Jacob. So even those drivers in the back, they want to stay out of the action, but they got to stay connected to the rest of the field here. As they run down, everybody's kind of sticking around side by side again, keeping it very, very nice and tidy here as we go into 3 for the first time. We might see that number 77 there of Sean Bradley trying to stick it out and make it 3 wide, but he's in slot right back in. And as we come back on the main straight, Jacob, it's 1 lap down and 69 more to go.
And Dustin Barton got that shove from Alex Goff and sent him all the way to the front, sent him all the way to the lead of this 30-car field. Now Goff's going to be stuck up there on the outside trying to get the push from Harcum. Harcum's going to shove him all the way up to Barton's door, and now Alex Goff, he will be clear. Will he drop down in front of Barton? No, he will not. He will stay up here in this middle lane. Barton's going to try to get the run from the 42 and try to shove him up here. And don't look now, the points leader, Kyle Greggs, right behind him, trying to see if he can get up here. Wanting to be able to hold on to that points lead after Talladega as they go into 3.
And as they come into 3 here, it's going to be Dustin Barton who is sliding all the way back. But again, Talladega is a long race, so it's not a big deal to move back early. Just stick with everything and keep it moving forward here. And as they come around out of 4, it will be a new leader on the board. And it will be drivers coming around here. Everybody's holding on. Everybody's doing the best they can. And my iRacing won't update, so let's go ahead and take a look here. It's Alex Goff up in the lead with Jason Benson. Kyle's up there in P5 holding on as they come around into turn 2 here.
And Alex Goff still trying to hold on to this top. Got Ben Harkham stuck right up on his tailgate, trying to give him a little bit of a shove down the backstretch. The 46 down on the bottom, still trying to shove Benson as hard as he possibly can, but to no avail. Slaughter trying to help him as much as they can going into turn 3. Everybody very, very content, running 2 wide at this point in the race. It's awful early, but everybody content running 2 wide. Nobody wanting to step out and try to make it 3 wide. Here goes Benson, that is, all the way to the front. Goff still trying to get the shove from Harkham. Everybody still trying to run in that pace formation as they hit the line once again, coming to lap 4 right here as they go into turn 1.
Coming into turn 1, it's still Goff, Benson side by side leading the pack here, and it's going to be Harkham and Slaughter that are going to want to try to make a look and see which way they can go to keep things through. It's still 2x2 and nice and tidy all the way down this large field of cars. We got 30 cars here at Talladega. Everybody's just kind of holding on, holding single file, doing the best they can. Well, holding single file in 2 lines. It's that side by side, and everybody just wants to keep it tidy. It's a game of survival. Everybody's thinking of the long term, but when does someone's patience run out? When does someone decide that they want to dive it through here? And Jacob, we're starting another lap, so as fast as they're going, they keep moving through. 51-second lap will move real fast around here.
And them top guys really trying to see if they can hold it down in the middle. Don't want to slide up. Now Goff able to slide down right in front of Benson, so Goff will take hold of the lead on that bottom side. Now it's a new man up at the front, the 78. That is Ben Harkham up there in the front, trying to see if he can get the shove from the points leader, Kyle Grex. Now Grex is going to give him a shove. Here comes John Campbell. All 3 of them up on the top side, actually starting to pull away from the 4th guy in line. But Goff trying to get this help from Benson, not able to get it done. Harkham's going to be able to get clear for just a second. Thinks about going down there. Thinks different of it. Jumps back up in front of the 27. Harkham's got to really figure out what he wants to do, but he decides to stay in this top side. Here comes Goff on the bottom, trying to see if he can draw near to his door, as now Harkham thinking about jumping back to the bottom as they go into 1.
Yeah, and as we go into 1, it's all getting kind of dicey in the front. Drivers are starting to get a little bit impatient here as we go through, and we ride on board. And watch this, the Nutty Buddy car might get a little bit of a shove here, riding on board with the number 42. Number 42 here of Jason Benson, trying to hold on to things side by side as they go through. And like I said, we're looking for that little bit of a shove as we go into 3, and everybody trying to keep things tidy. The 42, the 78, the 00. Nobody wants to be the cause of that first wreck and that first caution, but it's all going through. Drivers getting very squirrely there out of 4, trying to hold on to it as best they can. Coming across the line yet again, and look at that side-by-side down towards the start-finish line.
Yeah, Harkham's trying to give every little bit of side draft. Maybe he can pull Goff back just a little bit. Now the outside lane, big-time advantage right now as Grex just shoved him right there. And, folks, if you look at these cars right here and you look at the nose on these cars, the nose on these cars is more like a snowplow, if anything. And if you see the back end of the car, it's actually kind of jacked up just a little bit. That's just how that the car model was built. So these guys just can't go right up there and just straight up slam them in the back end, because if they do, they'll literally drive right up under the back end of their car and completely jack the back end of the car up. And then the guy that's getting shoved, he's at the mercy of the guy that's shoving him, and he can turn him any which way but loose. So the little bit of bumping that they can do bump drafting, but straight up slamming somebody is not the option. But right now, Ben Harkham and Grex really made it work on the top side. Harkham jumps down in front of Alex Goff. And now the points leader, Kyle Grex, in the 27, Napa Auto Parts Chevy, up front on the top side, trying to get this help from John Campbell, as well as Kishinim. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing that name wrong, as we do have a caution on the Speedway. We'll see if we can exactly see kind of what happened back here in just a minute. But caution on the Speedway that halts all this crazy action that was going on up front. We'll see if we can get an idea and get this lined up. You got a guy right back here, and there it is. That's something that I was talking about right there that can really be detrimental for this right here. I mean, wow, hard impact on the inside retaining wall. number 24, I mean, he tried to lock it down as hard as he could, and then bam, I mean, just hard impact into that inside wall. Check it out once again. Goes all the way around.
Man.
I mean, even if he had the brakes locked down right there, he was not going to be able to hold it down right there. The 24 being Matthew Persuni, he gets spun right there. Check it out, riding on board. And I mean, yeah, I mean, that's just some hard impact. Even though this track has a safer barrier on the inside wall and on the outside wall, iRacing doesn't give it any justice, folks. It's just like hitting a concrete wall. I mean, if you hit it that hard, it's game over at that point. But these guys do have a fast repair. They have one fast repair. So unfortunately, the 24, Matthew Persuni, he's going to have to end up using that fast repair just a little bit earlier than what he intended to.
Yeah, I don't think lap 9 is where he wants to use that fast repair, but you got to get back out on the track. You got to stay in with it. Thankfully for these drivers, they also got lucky dogs if it really comes down to it. So very fortunate that that's going through. Unfortunately, he wrecked that early, but hey, they're going through. They also got 4 sets of tires they get to use across the entire race. So we see some strategy there in the pit lane. John Campbell in that 117 car, faking things out to take the lead here under yellow. He faked out the car behind him there, dove through. That was Alex Goff, I believe, that was right behind him there. And he acted like he was going to pit, dived it out, keeps it on the track, keeps it in the lead. 9 laps in, lap 10 here under safety car, caution car. You really, I don't think you need tires this early, but some of the drivers might feel a little bit better with just getting a fresh set of rubber underneath.
Honestly, Bradley, I mean, you don't need any tires at all. I mean, this is Talladega. I mean, you usually see a lot of guys, they will end up going down pit road just to get gas. I mean, that's all it really is. I mean, it's a race about survival, as you mentioned, and it's also a race about fuel management to be able to make it to the end. Now, granted, those guys that went in, Kyle and, Jason Benson, all those guys that went in right there, obviously they cannot make it on fuel at this point. But what they're doing is you can make it on one stop. You can go 40 laps on a tank of gas and be able to make it to the end. So you can go, I mean, you can pit only one time. The key at what they're doing is they're going in this early right here. That way, if this thing goes green and they do have to make a green flag pit stop, they will not have to be on pit road as long as some other guys like John Campbell, like Alex Goff, like Matthew Harmon, Grant Fisher, all these guys up here, or Grant Parker, they will not have to be on pit road as long as them. So I like the strategy right here, but the problem is that it put them right smack dab in the middle of a hornet's nest when this thing goes back green.
Yeah, drivers are going to have to really hold it together here when things go green. Of course, if you're not familiar with how iRacing works, it's going to take them back into double file, and then it'll kick them in for a restart here. And we should get the call here shortly for 1 to go, I would think, since pit stops have cycled. And I'm looking, it's going to be just like our race start. I think nobody wants to be the one to cause the wreck. And as we mentioned already, these front bumpers or snow plows through, you really can't bump draft through like you can with modern NASCAR. But I'm expecting to kind of just see drivers kind of stick to the draft, try to hold on to that car in front, and just try to pace it through for a little bit. Nobody wants to do a caution every 10 laps, most less these drivers.
Absolutely, but you do know as well as I do, as well as all the fans know this, that when those laps start ticking down and it gets down to about 20 to go, it doesn't make a damn how many cautions they've had in this race, Bradley. They will do whatever they need to do to be able to get to the front. And right now, John Campbell is at the front of the field. Alex Goff, we saw him up here as well. Actually started 4th in the field. Now he's going to be on 2nd on this restart. Matthew Harmon, good drive for him so far. Started 18th. He's all the way up to 3rd. How about Grant Parker, 22nd all the way up to 4th. Then you go back to Ward Fisher, started 5th, and he is sitting 5th for this restart. John Barton, he started 23rd up to 6th. This is normal, folks, right here for guys to go all the way from the back of the pack and jump all the way up to the front. It is very normal here at Talladega, much like Daytona and the new Atlanta, more so at Talladega and Daytona than Atlanta, but it is very common with that because of the draft factor, and also, of course, of the big one that, can take out about 20, 30 cars, which is a possibility we could see tonight. So if anybody's in for a wreck, stick around all the way to the end. Good possibility it's probably going to happen. But that's super speedway nature, and that's why we love, at least I do, love this type of racing right here, because it's so unpredictable. And, and some drivers don't like it because they like to be able to have a methodical race. They like to be able to just race it out all the way to the end. I like the unpredictability because, that's just, it keeps you on the edge of your seat. So here we go. Pace car is off. John Campbell, Alex Goff will be on the front row, as I mentioned. Matthew Harmon and Grant Parker right behind them. Green flags in the air. John Campbell able to get away with a fantastic restart. Absolutely checking out on this restart. Alex Goff, Matthew Harmon in a side-by-side battle for that second spot. Now Grant Parker, he jumps down to the bottom. Goff thinks different of it, gets out of the gas and jumps back down. So the front four cars in a single file formation with Ward Fisher and John Barton side-by-side as they come off of turn 2.
That single file formation may pay off for them if they can stick to it, try to get the rest of the field to go down into single file and just bump draft through. But look there on the right-hand side, on the outside, that's setting up for a second line, and the 00 is going to jump up there on the high line as well. He's going to try to stick with him and hold on to it, but he's going to get shuffled to the middle there, and that is not the look that he wants there going through, because that is... Who is that there around him? It looks like that is the number 68 of John Barton going up there on the outside. Number 39 was with him, and now he's hung out there to dry on the right-hand side as they come across into turn 1. 00 trying to get a run here on the 117 of Campbell, and Alex Goff does get that run. He's going to take the lead here, going through turn 1, coming out of turn 2.
Wow, Derek Catt had to completely get out of the gas. He straight up hit the brakes right there, because Barton was fixing to come down. He was coming down whether Cat was wanting him to or not. Cat had to get out of the gas, and Barton had a fantastic idea. It just didn't stick. Nobody else went with him. Everybody thinking that they want to go ahead, get some laps in. Let's not get crazy and start any three-wide mess this early. Everybody else, I'm sure everybody's, hey, come on with it. But up front, Campbell holding it down on the bottom side. Goff trying to get the shove from Barton. Matthew Harmon also trying to give that shove as well. And Grant Parker up here on the bottom in that 43. Love that paint scheme right there with the Budweiser 3 doors down look. Absolutely love that paint scheme. I've ran that paint scheme a couple of times. Check it out. Absolutely beautiful paint scheme right there that 43 is running. He may be my pick to win it just because of the paint scheme, honestly, Bradley. But up front, Goff trying to see if he can get the run. Trying to see if he can get Barton to maybe shove him clear and get Goff back down on the inside as they go into 3.
Yeah, and as they come through 3 here, it's that 117, that 00 holding on, but the 68 and 28 play just as important of a part there. Because if Harmon or Barton want to start anything, they just got to get that front bumper up a little bit and not necessarily spin them, maybe just bump and run. You typically see it at short track, but hey, super speedways, all the same principles apply, and now we're just running side by side and 2 wide here as we run down the start-finish line into 1. Who is going to get impatient first? And at the moment, 00 is getting that run there with the 68. Goff and Barton holding on there on the outside line. 117 there. Campbell slips up a little bit, but he's still holding on to it. Drivers getting a little swirly as we go, but the fun thing is those aerodynamics of the cars, it's going to pull them up into each other, and they got to be able to muscle that car back down and hold on to that 750 horsepower and keep things going straight. And as they go into 3, you can see still 2 wide holding on here in our field, and it looks like everybody's just settling in here for a bit of the long run, which is not something you see a lot in iRacing and not something I'm used to saying at Talladega.
Goff still trying to come down and side draft Campbell, still trying to see if he can get this top lane rolling. Barton still trying to give him the shove, as you see right there. Just trying to use every little bit of air. He don't even have to bump him. Just stay up tight on his back bumper. And that way he'll be able to carry the momentum around on the outside. And check out Goff, obviously coming down, side drafting on Campbell. But one thing he does not want to do is slide up the hill and give a shot for Barton to be able to sneak it through the middle. Because if he does, then obviously odds are everybody else in the field behind Barton will end up going with him and not going with Goff. So these guys really wanting to try to stay out of that pit house line all the way up at the top of the racetrack. That's why they're coming down real tight on each other's door. Yeah, they're trying to side draft, but they just don't want anybody to end up sneaking into that hole that could be possible. Because, folks, if you give just a little bit of an inch, not right now, it's too early for it, but later on in the race, if you give just a little bit of an inch in that middle lane, somebody will stick their nose there, and they will try to make that pass. Because like we said, they got one faster pair. I mean, if they want them up now, I mean, hell, they can go get the cars fixed. But they don't want to end up being in that situation. That's why everybody's really trying to take care of one another out here. A little bit of three-wide battling going on at the back. But right now, Goff, he is clear from Campbell. Will he jump down on the bottom side? He thinks better of it. Here comes Campbell back with a run on the inside.
Yeah, Campbell keeping that run there on the inside against Goff, trying to hold on there. And I'm watching that number 7 of A.J. Benish as well. He was trying to get somebody to go high with him there. He wanted to take it 3 wide. And look there. Look up at the front. Now we've got 3 wide action going through. Who is that taking things 3 wide? Causing a lot of action.
That's Derek Catt. Derek Catt in the 39. He is on the top lane. Nobody with him right now. But he's still able to hold it down. Now he's getting some help from the 91 of Chad Bear. He's had enough of riding around. Now here comes Sean Bradley up on the top side. 3 cars up on the top lane, and they may have something to say between this John Campbell and Alex Goff fight. Goff able to get away. Now the bottom lane is straight up dissipating just as a blink of an eye. As wow, Derek Catt in the number 39 really making this top lane work. He's got a lot of help from behind with the 91. Goff still down on the bottom. Campbell in the middle. Excuse me, that's Goff in the middle. Campbell in the middle. 3 wide in the tri-oval. Folks, this is Sweet Home Talladega at its finest as they go into turn 1.
Sweet Home Talladega producing action that only Talladega can here. 3 wide through turn 1, turn 2, holding on here. It's the 117, the 00, and the 39. Campbell, Goff, Catt just dueling back and forth. But what line is going to get the run or what's going to dissipate? And it's just drivers holding on at this point, and it really is survival of the fittest, survival of the bravest. But that 00, Alex Goff, and that number 68 of John Barton holding on to each other there in the middle line. They're keeping things forward. The 117, the 28, Campbell and Harmon trying to get a run on the inside, but they don't have help behind them. They're going to dissipate as it goes. So they get forward a little bit going in the tri-oval, but then things fall right back. And again, it's Alex Goff holding on, and everybody's trying to stay steady. You see, Goff wants to slide up high. He wants to try to block off that top line because here comes Derek Catt into the lead into turn 1.
Catt is absolutely moving right now. He's got the 91 of Chad Bear all up in his back bumper, trying to get this top lane clear from the middle and the bottom. Here goes Catt, able to get to the 00's door of Alex Goff. Here goes Catt. Will he be able to get clear? He's not able to just yet. But check it out. Still 3 wide as Campbell still trying to make it work down on the bottom. Maybe try to get back up here and make it 3 wide once again. Now Campbell's there. Catt slips back just a little bit. 91 comes up and gives him a shove. Folks, this is wild. We love Talladega right here. 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 here in the field. It is hold your breath excitement right here. Hopefully no one makes just a little bit of slip, because if they do, they're all going to wad them up.
Don't forget either, Jacob, we've still got 49 laps of action going. We're only on lap 21 here as we go through, so plenty of action left to find as we watch the drivers battle against the last lap. And it really is a question, who's going to get brave and who is going to come out unlucky here? Who's rolling the dice? And I don't see anyone moving from their place, but it just takes one little lapse of concentration when you're in this 3 wide run, and now you see the 39 falling back, and maybe the 68 is going to move up. Nope, 00's trying to cover both the high and the middle lines, doing a good job of it there.
Yeah, I gotta wonder, he's basically, here it is. Low. Here it is, Goff. He's going to have to try to pull some shades of Brad Keselowski here at Talladega. He went to the bottom, thought about jumping up top. Goff may have just messed up big time right here. Here comes John Barton in the middle lane, getting the push from Kyle Grex in that 27. And now Grex all the way up the back bumper. 00 drops to the bottom of the racetrack. He may be going to the back. He may have seen something that he did not like here in the race right here at the front. So Goff below the yellow line. He can go down there to move to the back. You just can't go below that double yellow line to improve your position. But up front, 3 wide still going on as Sean Bradley still trying to give a shove to the 31. Everybody's swirling around as they go into the tri-oval. Derek Catt up on the top side. John Barton down on the bottom, and your point leader, Kyle Gregg, stuck in the middle as they go into turn 1.
And as they go into turn 1 here, again, it's that number 39 of Derek Catt that keeps the run on the outside. The number 27 of Kyle Gresh is trying to run on the inside there, and the 46 wants to keep it 3 wide. He wants to run that middle line, but the number 7 doesn't want any part of it. You'd see him, he's trying to figure out a way to fit into that top line. They want to settle things down a little bit. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think that Golf had a good idea there, sliding back. I don't know if he did it on purpose or accident, what happened there, if he just got uncomfortable with what's going on up front. Drivers are getting real swirly here, though, as you said, and it is just a matter of time. I can feel it in the air. You can feel the tension rising, and something is coming up, and it's just a question of from where, because if it's up there the front, 46, and the number 68 there, Barton and Slaughter get a little bit of a bump, but thankfully for them, it's just a little love tap, and they keep going here. But what's going to happen if one of those love taps happen just a little too many times? Because that 46 is really, really swirly there on that middle line, and you can see him. He's going low. He's going high. He's holding door to door. What is going to happen here, Jacob?
He is straight up being aggressive. Jeff Slaughter, I mean, he has straight up been door banging the 27 and the 68 down on the bottom side, but up front, Derek Catt trying to see if he can get clear. They may be looking 4 wide as Catt slips down just a little bit, but Sean Bradley not able to get to the right side and try to find it around. 7 gets squirrely, bunch of door banging going on as they're getting ready to hit in the tri-oval with Jeff Slaughter up here racing it out with Kyle Gregg. Wow, these guys are doing a fantastic job, doing a damn good job at saving these cars. Wow, at the racing, and now they've seen as how aggressive this is getting. Now they decide this is enough right here. They're going to end up hanging Derek Catt out. Catt all by himself up there in the top lane as it went back to 2 wide. Now, here comes A.J. Benish. Jumps up to the top. 77, Sean Bradley's going to try to go with him. They're going to hang the 46 out in the middle. Your new leader, once again, A.J. Benish up at the front, trying to pull the 77 with him, but he was not clear. Now he jumps down in front of Slaughter. Wow, hard racing. A lot of crazy moves going as they're maybe even looking 4 wide as they're going to hit the tri-oval.
These drivers are not going to relax. I know we said they were going to have a good little race here, but they are not calming down. It's 3 wide all the way back that you can see, and the drivers holding on. It's a 777 and 27 there up in the front trying to hold on. That 46 still a bit swirly in the middle. You can see that middle line is just getting pulled left and right. We see the 7, he's gotten a bit loose a few times, and it really is just a matter of survival. And the 28 getting a run on the bottom with the 117. Everybody's just trying to hold on, but that 7 and 46, I'm afraid, might be out to dry, and they've got an option. Do they want to slip into one of these top or bottom lanes, or do they want to wait and try to get some help and make another charge forward here? Number 27, Kyle Gresh, into the lead yet again going into turn 3, and he's trying to take that bottom line with him as that number 7 of A.J. Benish is just trying to hold on for all he can there in that middle line, and that 77 on the top is starting to lose it a little bit again, but we're going to see that top line, I think, come back to it into 1 and 2. Everybody just hold your breath a little bit longer. We're coming up on lap 27 and 70 as they hit turn 1 yet again, going 3 wide one more time.
And Gretsch is still down on the bottom. It's 77 to Sean Bradley, all in. A.J. Benish almost end up getting him turned right there in turn number 2. Now Jeff Slaughter right behind him. He's going to see if he can work this middle lane back up. Here they go. Everybody's starting to stack back up, trying to get this 3 wide racing going on. Kyle Gresh still able to hold on to the lead right now. A.J. Benish in that middle lane. 77, Sean Bradley trying to side draft, maybe try to find a hole. He may have put himself in a very bad spot up here on this top side. He really wants to try to jump back down in the middle. But Gresh still holding on. A.J. Benish, John Barton down there trying to give Gresh as much shove as he can. And John Campbell also up here in the mix as well. And check it out, some drivers that we haven't talked about all race long. One of those drivers, the number 26, smack dab in the middle of this bad boy, is Jaden Henry in that blue 26 right there. He is smack dab in the middle of it. He hasn't been up front all race long. Now here he is, peeking his nose up here, seeing if he can maybe get up here, get his name called leading here at Talladega. But Benish still holding the middle. Bradley up top. Kyle Gretsch able to get clear. Kyle Gretsch back to the lead.
Talladega is as much about skill as it is about luck and holding your nerve. And right now, if you're in that middle lane, you're the 7, the 46, or the 26, it's all about holding your nerve and just keep that car straight. Don't make any wrong moves one way or the other and just hold on to it, and you might find yourself up at the front. And as we go here in turn 1, look at that 46 getting real loose in the middle at 117 and 77, giving plenty of room for the 46 there of Jeff Slaughter, and trying to just hold on as best they can down the backstretch. Now this is where they're going to try to get the run, and here's the thing, something's got to give. The tension's there, and you can only sit 3 wide comfortably for so long. They are going to have to give something. Someone's going to have to cycle back. Someone's going to have to cycle around, because you can only do this for so long, Jacob. And as you and me both know, in Talladega, if you get shoved out of the line and you get hung out to dry, it is right to the back of the field for you. You get no options there. And it looks like things are starting to mix up a bit here for the drivers all the way through.
Yeah, but check out Sean Bradley. I mean, he's really doing it all by himself up here, still trying to side draft that 7 of A.J. Bennett, trying to see if he can maybe slide him back just a little bit. John Barton, who was right behind Kyle Gretsch, now he's up in this middle lane getting the shove from Bennett, and Bradley's still way down on Bennett's door, almost giving a little door bang when they come off of turn 2. Now John Campbell on that 117, he's giving the shove to Kyle Gretsch, but Barton, he's going to get the shove that he needs right here from the 7 of Benish to be able to see if he can get him clear. Maybe not. Here comes Gretsch back down to the bottom. Here comes Barton trying to see if he can come down and side draft him, as well as Sean Bradley all by himself up against the wall. Nobody going with him. That is a fast car right there in that 77 to be able to do this all by himself with no help, and he's trying to go for the lead all by himself. Wow, I mean, he is absolutely digging up there, but he's going to have to think about maybe jumping back down right here, because I think he may have used up all his lives right here.
Yeah, you can only hold on that top line on your own for so long, but he's trying to prove us wrong. And look there, he's got some help from the 46 of Jeff Slaughter going up there with Sean Bradley. He's pushing new leader Sean Bradley going into turn 3, holding on to things, but Kyle Gretsch wants to have something to say about it, because just for a moment, he was in the lead. He's back through. I've seen more lead changes in this than I've seen in an F1 season all year, because look at this. The drivers are just back and forth all the way through, and this is the fun of NASCAR. You just get passing left, right, all the way through as we hit down the main straight. We hit that start-finish straight, and we start lap number 32. It is going to be Sean Bradley and Jeff Slaughter on the outside just trying to find that run, and I think for just a moment they are going to find it, because look there behind them, they got help coming from the 40 and the 39, and the 7's trying to hug them on the wall as that middle lane is left out to dry now.
Yeah, Benish was actually thinking about maybe going 4 wide right there for just a moment and put Bradley all the way to the penthouse, which is where he has been running the past couple of laps. But now he's got Jeff Slaughter right behind him in the 46 trying to give him the shove. Now Bradley jumps back down to the middle lane right in front of John Barton. Kyle Gretsch has not left the bottom lane this whole time. He's just been basically letting everybody else do what they please up there. But Sean Bradley, I'm telling you right now, he may be the luckiest guy in Talladega. Was all by himself. Nobody was able to help him on the top side. Now he finds himself at the front in the lead as they're looking 3 wide right behind him. But here comes Gretsch back on the bottom, starting to motor that number 27. Try to get it back up to the front. John Barton stuck in the middle right here. Here comes Jeff Slaughter up on the top side. Bradley jumps up, tries to make a block, maybe try to get Slaughter to shove him up there, and then Bradley jumps back down. He has got to be very careful about that right there, because he can get straight up dumped big time as now Slaughter and Barton start door banging as they go into 3.
Drivers are going to have to hold on here. You can see the drivers are thinking this is the final lap, and we're not even through the halfway mark yet, as the drivers are sitting there 77, 27 side by side through, and he's got help from that 68 and that 117 as they cross the start finish line yet again here. And watch that outside line, that's the 46 of Jeff Slaughter. We talked about him a lot tonight. He's trying to have a run through. Now look at this, there's a little bit of a hook. 68, 117 almost get together there, but it looks like they keep it off of each other, that door banging going through and holding on. And it is the 1:17.68 that I'm real worried about because they've gotten very close a time or two. But at the moment, that's Sean Bradley in 77 holding on. Look at that. He's going to slip to the bottom. Oh, 68.46, Jeff Slaughter. And that was John Barton having a bit of a moment. And that's going to slide them right on back. That is Jeff Slaughter just sliding on back. The 40's in the wall. 40's in the wall, and he holds on to it again. How did he hold on to that?
These guys are slipping and sliding like they're on a quarter-mile dirt track, like they're on a go-kart track up in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, when they put the baby powder all over that go-kart track. These guys are trying to hold on with everything they can. Sean Bradley up at the front, trying to see if he can hold it on. Here comes Kyle Gretsch, right up his back bumper. John Campbell as well, he is there. And check out the 28. Matthew Harmon started 18th all the way up to 6th. AJ Benish started this race 25th, and he's all the way up to 5th right at this point after he had to slide back just a little bit. But that 28 has just come absolutely out of nowhere, and now he's going to look to go 3 wide. Almost turns the 7 right smack dab in front of him. All this going on right behind Sean Bradley and Kyle Gretsch. Now here comes the 117. He's going to jump it up to the top. 28's trying to give him a shove, and then right behind him, it looks like to be John Barton back there, right behind him, trying to make this top lane work. No, that is AJ Benish trying to make it work all by himself. He saw the 77 try to do it. He's trying to do it as they come off of 2.
Coming off at 2, and that number 7 is trying to get his way back to the mix. AJ Benish, he was up there, he slid back. Now he wants to move back forward, but I don't think he has any help there behind him that I can see. He's got one person for help, and it looks like that's the number 55 of Keith Hanlon is trying to get a mix, get up towards the front. Everybody's kind of settling back in that 2 file that we saw, but they want to keep it 3 wide if they can because that's where the real action is. That's where the hard racing comes from. But
7's in the wall. 7's in the wall. AJ got put in the fence. I think he just drove it straight up in the fence. Sorry to cut you off right there, Bradley, but wow. I mean, and great driving by everybody to be able to get around him right there. But Benish tried to make that top lane work, ended up getting sucked straight into the fence, and then ended up having to ride it all the way off of 4 and try to slide back as they are battling it out up here for this lead, Bradley.
Yeah, they're holding on 2 wide. Shockingly, no pace car, no caution thrown. But that's probably a good thing. These drivers probably don't want to deal with a caution with the way this race is going. They're in the zone, they're in the groove, they're settled in. Look at that. 40's going to think about going up on the high side if he can make it work. But that 117.27 and the 77, Kyle Gretsch, Sean Bradley, and John Campbell, who have been the dominant ones up at the front of the field the whole race, they are just settled in right there, and you see the same ones right behind and just holding on, trying to stay in the mix. Eventually, someone's going to have to break this thing 3 wide, and someone's going to have to open up the can of worms, try to make it pass through as we go into 1 yet again here. Jacob, it's anyone's guess how this ends.
It's anyone's guess, but I'll be honest with you, Bradley. If they keep on racing as hard as they are doing, the big one will strike because they have made some very, very crazy moves. They're making some very daring moves here at Talladega. But check it out. Here comes Ryan Hott by himself on the top side. He's already seen 2 drivers try to make it work. He's going to try to be the 3rd guy to do it. The first guy was able to make it done. That was Sean Bradley. The second guy that tried it, he ended up in the fence. So hopefully Ryan can get this top lane rolling. Then he backs away. The 28 jumps to the bottom. Now he tries to use Campbell, try to shove him. And now Hott's going to be by himself as it looks like that second lane really starting to dissipate now. Everybody may be looking to go single file right here, Bradley. They may be looking at this 1 pit stop right here coming up.
Yeah, green flag pit stop starting. I already see a couple cars that have called pitting in and have went into the pits. It looks like that is Jaden Henry there in the number 26. First driver I've seen do that green flag pit stop and just try to settle things down. So drivers might just start holding their breath because last thing you want to do is wreck trying to pit. It's embarrassing and it can cause some big problems for you and for everybody else. You don't want to be the driver to do it because the fun thing about iRacing, you get that radio call and everybody's going to be yelling at you for it. But drivers just trying to hold on as best they can. And Gretsch and Bradley still at the front. They've slotted in single file to hold on to the lead here and hold on to that 1-2. And I think they are settling down as well and just trying to keep things moving.
And another thing, too, Bradley, I mean, you know, you would usually see some guys like Jaden Henry be one of those guys to key up and say, hey, I'm going into the pits. I'm pitting in. Sometimes you don't see that right there. There may be some guys that may not even just say. They may just try to keep it quiet, not because they're trying to cause a wreck, but because they don't want anybody else to get on the strategy that they're going to be on. They don't want to try to make somebody pit when they go. They may be trying to leapfrog some guys in the running order. They may already have an agreement with other drivers in the race, so they don't want anybody else to jump in there when they go. So that it could be a little bit of a factor when they go into the pits of somebody not keying up and saying that, hey, I'm going in. And then I've seen it numerous times. Where guys will go in, not say anything, and then straight up get tagged in the back end from somebody. And then guess what? You got a hell of a wreck. 20 cars end up getting involved. So we'll have to check that out, especially if we do get some green flag pit stops, which it's going to be coming here in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, these drivers up here at the front are going to be the ones that are going to need to pit. Remember, a lot of our drivers pit under that first caution we had and may be good for a bit longer. They may be want to do a splash and go here later in the race, but as we hit lap 41 here, they aren't too worried right now, but leaders are going to have to start pitting here soon, I believe, but nobody's peeling off yet. Kyle Gress, Sean Bradley pulling out a bit of a gap here to the car behind, and that is going to be John Barton. They're pulling a gap to there in that number 68. They are settled in a zone, and they are just kind of holding on to their own. We went back to that double file racing we saw for those first 10 laps, and I think everybody is just settling in here, trying to hold on, but someone needs to bring it 3 wide. Somebody's got to make a move. You can't ride like this forever. And who is it going to be, Jacob? I'm going to put my money on AJ Benish trying to take it 3 wide, that number 7 there up in the middle of the pack.
I wouldn't be surprised. He went all the way to the top when he was by himself. Obviously, Sean Bradley done the same thing. But Benish tried to make it work, and then he ended up getting shoved all the way to the back because he drove it up too high, and then he got into the fence. So I wouldn't doubt it one bit at all, Benish being one of them. I wouldn't count out that 91 back there, Chad Bear, and there he goes. You called it right there, the number 7 of AJ Benish. He jumped up. Chad Bear was stuck right behind him, and Bear did not go with him. So Benish is going to slip back just a little bit. He may have to jump down and get in front of Al Corey in this 45 if he wants to be able to stay in the draft, and he does. But Benish, he thought about it. He tried to see if Bear would go with him, and Bear decided not to. So Benish, he got us on the edge of our seats, thought he was going to try to make something happen, thought Bear might go with him. In the end, it was just a complete swap out of one spot on that top side.
That's the mind of a NASCAR driver, though. He's going to stick it up there every once in a while. He's going to run it into the high line and just look in his mirror, see who comes with him. Just if he gets some help, he'll make it run. And if he doesn't get some help, then, hey, he'll slot right back in. No harm, no foul. He's just trying to see what'll happen and just trying to make something work to get a run on the leader, because that high line is not moving. That number 40 has not brought it forward at all. Ryan Hyatt there has not brought that high line forward. And look at that. Ryan Hyatt's thinking about slotting back in low there, but he doesn't. He's trying to find a way to get things moving, but I don't know what it is. That high line's just kind of stuck.
I think what it is Cameron Kane's not going up there and giving him a shove, honestly, because everybody that we've seen on the top side, when Sean Bradley was up there, he was able to make it work. John Campbell was up there on the top side. They were getting shoves. They were getting pushes, and here we go. Here we go. Everybody's going to dump it down. John Barton, one of those guys also, as well as John Campbell. Campbell's going to slide, almost gets spun around on his own. Everybody trying to get down to that whopping 55 miles an hour and try to make sure that they do not speed. Wow, there was a lot of guys about straight up lost it right there going into the pits, but able to get it straightened out. A bunch of other guys. John Campbell, we see him going in. Alex Goff was in. Jeff Slaughter, also one of those guys going in as well. And I got a good feeling they're only going in. They may go in for right sides. They're not going in for 4, because if they do, the competition is just going to straight up eat them alive. So 2 tires right here on this stop right here, I think is going to be the perfect key. Now, we'll see what these guys right here at the front part, will they decide to go in? You look at all the smoke right there. That was from everybody trying to get it woe down and make sure they met the 55 mile an hour speed limit. But here they come. Kyle Gretsch still leading the race. Everybody else now starting to peel off of pit road and get back up to speed. Some of them may actually get lapped right here. But Sean Bradley, right all tucked up on Kyle Gretsch. Ryan Hyatt still trying to see if he can get somebody to shove him. Try to get Cameron Kane to shove him. As now here they come up on this lap traffic. They'll be 3 wide for just a second as they go into 3. but Gretsch still holds on to the lead. When will these guys decide to take a chance and go down pit road?
Yeah, that lap traffic is going to prove to be problematic there on the inside, but that lap traffic should stay well out of the way, I would think. And I think we got more drivers going into the pits. I'll tell you, what got my attention on that pit stop was Derek Catt. He got completely sideways trying to box in and hold his brakes there and get down to that 55 miles an hour, which when you're running 200 plus the entire time you've been on the speedway here, and we've been green for a while, 55 is real slow to get down to. But hey, they did it. They hold on to it and they keep it moving. Now Kyle Gretsch, Sean Bradley holding on there. They're getting onto the back of 117 John Campbell. Of course, John Campbell part of those pit stops, and they're just going to slide up around him. Everybody's going to call it and just go up around the outside. And now you're going to start getting a couple of different packs forming. You're going to have those cars that just pit, and you're going to have our lead lap cars that box in, and it's going to be a big mix for a minute of who's where. So everybody just keep your eyes together and keep focused, because before we get all these pit stops through, Jacob, it's going to be a big mess for just a minute.
And, not to mention, you're going to have some of these guys up here, like we just talked about, that have already made a pit stop. You talked about John Campbell. He is smack dab right behind Sean Bradley and Kyle Gretsch. Actually, the 40 may have looked to try to get down right there, but Campbell not going to let him down. And when some of these guys right here in front of some of these guys that's already pitted, they got to be careful, because they've got to watch for the stack up. They got to watch if somebody's right in front of them, they don't call out that they're going into the pits. They got to make sure that they don't run them over. But I'm telling you what, check out this 77 and 27 all by themselves, literally starting to gap themselves from Ryan Hyatt and the 50 and the 55 of Keith Handlin. They are straight up jumping right up on this second group. Right there is the 00. There is Golf. Right, and then now they're going past the 28, going past the 46, going past all of them. That line led by A.J. Benish, but two cars all by themselves, Kyle Gretsch and Sean Bradley, trying to go ahead and get around these guys and put them one lap down here at Talladega.
I tell you what, I want to know what that 77 and 27 had for dinner tonight, because they are absolutely flying. And now what they really need to do, yep, there it is. They slot back in front of the 7, and they are going to just hold on to it. Welcome to Dega, where anything happens and things get crazy, and you end up having cars lapped on green flag pit stops, and half the field's a lap down, and half the field's on the lead lap, and now they're just going to kind of settle in and try to hold on to things and run through here as we hit that all-important lap 50 mark. 50 of 70 laps completed now. We got 20 to go, and at this point, we need to see more drivers pit through and cycle around, and now I think we're going to see that happen, but things are going to get real messy with these lap cars and cars a lap down there in the back of your screen if you pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to get really crazy back here. A bunch of guys that's already made pit stops. Going to be right smack dab. A bunch of other guys that have already that still have to make a pit stop. But here we go. Gretsch jumps down to the bottom. Bradley's going to jump down with him. Here comes John Barton in that 68. Now Gretsch is going to go. Bradley's going to go. Slaughter, everybody else going by him. As here comes that second pack. Gretsch all up in the brakes. Almost spins it. He does spin it. Bradley gets involved. Hanley, both of them get spun on the front right here at the entrance of pit road. 78 also getting involved. That's Ben Harcum. Wow, I mean, that did not look like the first group that went into pits, because they was a little bit squirrely, but they kept it straight. That right there was just a straight up cluster with everybody else going in here in this second group.
It goes to show that the art of pit stops is something you got to practice, you got to rehearse, you got to know where your braking zone is to get down, and you got to make sure you're watching behind you as well to not get tapped by someone behind. And it was just too many cars trying to do too many things, and it sets them up. And I'm watching Bradley right now because he is having a hard time just getting into his pit stall. He had to back up and reset. He got off wrong, so he's going to be way back, and that was our race leader for most of this. And now he's going to be back, possibly near the back of the pack, as we see the pack coming around here, starting off. And now we got Chad Bear in the lead.
Yeah, Chad Bear is all by himself right now. He has nobody else around him right now. Jason Benson, he has got the help from the 24. Oddly enough, the 24 of Matthew Persuni, he got spun earlier and brought out the only caution that we've had in this race. Right behind him is Al Corey, one of those guys we saw in practice that was getting stuck in the fence and having to try to get people to knock him out of it. And then right behind him, you got the 40. That's Ryan Hyatt. That is your top 5 right now, folks. But Chad Bear all by himself up here, has no drafting help. The next group that comes up to him will be second, third, and fourth, led by Jason Benson. And then you got it where it comes into real crazy stuff. Cameron Kane, actually one of them that's just going down pit road right now. But here comes the rest of the group. They may be trying to see if they can jump up here. AJ Benish, Alex Goff, Jeff Slaughter, Matthew Harmon, Mike Weida, all these guys right now, they are up to big time pace, and they are fixing to eat up this second, third, fourth, and fifth cars here in the running order.
Yeah, they've all got the throttle down, and that's the thing with Talladega. The more cars you get in a group, the faster it runs. You can run 3 or 4 cars and be fine, but if you can get 8, 10, 12 cars together in a group, it's going to punch a hole in the air, and they're going to run these stock cars a lot faster and a lot harder. And here we go. That's that number 7 of AJ Benish up in front with that number 46 of Jeff Slaughter up next, and they are catching up to that second, third, fourth, fifth group. And Chad Bear's still trying to hold on to his credit up there, but look at that gap. That gap was 6 seconds just 2 laps ago, and now the gap just about 1.5 seconds as everybody catches up. But as this group, starting with AJ Benish on back, catches these front four are going to get a little bit faster, believe it or not. And now you just get the action of what happens, because AJ Benish has got to figure out how he's going to negotiate these cars and not lose out on any time, as we watch this 42, 24, 45, and 40 start to have a challenge. And there it is, AJ Benish going up high with the number 40. He's going to take it 3 wide all the way to the wall, and he's going to hold on there. But nobody's going with him. Look at this. Nobody goes with him, Jacob, and that's going to set things up. He might start losing pace if somebody doesn't get up there up high and help him out real fast as we hit the start-finish line again.
Crank up the band. It is showtime here at Talladega. Jason Benson will be up here at the front, but now the 24, who brought out the very first and only caution that we've had this evening, Matthew Persini, he's getting the shove from Al Corey. AJ Benish up on the top side. He's going to start to get the shove from the 68 of John Barton. Alex Goff on the top side as well, trying to advance this top side. And finally, AJ Benish able to get this top lane and start to make it work. Goes all the way to the lead with help from John Barton on this top side. Al Corey, he's stuck in the middle. Matthew Persini, he is all the way down on the bottom side. Jason Benson still trying to help Al Corey. It's going to be a wild, wild finish right here. Like I said, folks, do not leave your TV screen, because all hell is fixing to break loose. These guys, 3, maybe even looking 4 wide. Later on, as they're bouncing off one another, Benson gets into Barton, gives him a door bang, almost gets them all around. Everybody has to get out of the gas. That hurts the top and the middle lane, and Persuni will be able to hold on to the lead for just a moment as they're fixing to fire back another shot.
Absolutely, 15 laps to go at this point. Everybody's trying to hold on. 68 gets a little bit swirly there of John Barton, but he holds on to it. He's got the 28 and the 00 for company. And watching here with Al Corey in the 45, holding on as best he can there with AJ Benish and Matthew Persini, trying to just hold on to things here. 45 might get him out of the tri-oval, and it's going to be a new leader at the line. Number 45, but that number 7, again, AJ Benish looking to go wide. No help here, but he just wants to make it happen there on that high line. He needs some help, but nobody wants to be the one to go up high into the wall and hold on to things here. 14 to go at this point, and again, it is all about to break loose, and I don't know where I need to be watching to catch the action, but it's coming.
I would watch right here smack dab at the front, because I love AJ Benish of how he is driving right now. He is throwing caution to the wind. He does not give a damn right now, Bradley. He will go anywhere he needs to go to be able to try to get to the front. AJ Benish trying to do it all by himself. Now he's starting to get some guys to jump up here behind him. Now he's starting to get a little bit of help out of some of these other guys. 32, Marty Rogers back here may try to jump up there with him, but AJ thought better of it. He'd already lost 3 spots. He finally, or actually more than that, but he already lost 3 spots from the top guys. He says he's had enough of it. Maybe not. AJ Benish still trying to get up here on this top side. Will Marty Rogers go with it? Marty, go with him at this point. Somebody go with him. Finally, the 28. Matthew Harmon, he jumps up and tries to go with AJ Benish as they go into 3.
I tell you, I was getting real worried for AJ Benish. You can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink, and man, he was trying to just lead the whole horse the whole paddock in. He was just trying to get the whole barn to go through. But I tell you what, now he's trying to take it 4 wide. He ain't happy with 3. He wants 4 as we go through. And look at that. He might have a little bit of help behind from the 26. The 26 can get the draft and get up there with 3 wide again, 12 to go at this point. And the number 28 there, Matthew Harmon, he saw that 7 keep going high. He said, all right, I'll go up front. I'm not giving you the lead. I'm going to take it myself. Number 28 through 45, 24 on the inside, though, of Matthew Persini. He is trying to hold that gorgeous livery number 24. Gorgeous paint job on that stock car. He wants the win, and it would fit perfectly. And I'm going to be honest, just for the paint job, I'm rooting for him.
Well, I mean, I grew up a Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan, not a Jeff Gordon fan, but I'm probably going to get some hate out there in the chat for that one, but so be it. I grew up Earnhardt fan, and I stuck with it. Was Gordon for a little bit, but that is what it is. But going back to this hard racing right here, Matthew Harmon still trying to get the shove from A.J. Benish on the top side. Al Corey still trying to get the shove from Joshua Benson, and also, Jason Benson, and then the 40 of Ryan Hyatt trying to get up here and give Matthew Persini a shove. Check out that 78, the hard side track that he was trying to do on Al Corey. Now tries to give it to Benson. 30, the 96 back here as well. That's Brian Cooper. I haven't talked about him all race long. He's up here trying to get into the middle of this. 3 by 3 for the first 6 cars. Then John Barton and Cooper back here trying to battle it up for the 8th spot as Corey almost sends the 28. Here comes Benson trying to help him. But Matthew Persini able to hold on to the bottom of the racetrack and be able to hold on for the race lead as they are coming around with 11 laps to go this time by. Who's going to win it tonight here at Talladega?
Your guess is as good as mine as who's going to win it. Look at that 42 getting a little swirly. The 7 jumps a little bit higher up towards the wall, trying to avoid him there. That's that number 42. We ain't talked about him a lot. Jason Benson trying to hold on. He's in the mix. The 96 getting a little swirly there. Brian Cooper. Everybody up front is getting antsy, but when do you time it? When do you decide if you're going to get the run and try to make the run work? When do you break out that run? When do you go through? And everybody's just holding on here as best they can. That 28 and 45 side drafting as hard as they possibly can. And I tell you what, that can only work for so long. Everybody's real cautious behind them as we come around the tri-oval here, side by side. And it's milliseconds splitting all these cars up. But that 24, again, just enough of a run there with the 40, but how long do they have that help, these front 3? And when does someone break through? The drivers are starting to talk a little bit. And there it is, the hook! The 28 and the 45.
Corey goes straight into the fence. Finally got spun by the 28 of Matthew Harmon. That was all she wrote. A.J. Benish was able to sneak through it just by a hair. Oh my goodness, hard impact. Holy hell, Bradley. Wow, Corey straight into the fence. You talked about the side drafting, that all that was going on. Was it going to be able to make it? And unfortunately, it was not able to make it because Harmon sends Corey straight in the fence, head on into the wall, right in front of everybody else in the field. Caution on the speedway. This changes everything here in this race.
Man, I hope the drivers save their fast repair because, boy, they're going to need it right about now. Good news for them is that caution flag got thrown very, very quickly there, and that's going to save them a bit of time. And good news for Jaden Henry there in the number 26. He's lucky dog eligible, and he may get his way around, get his lap back. He could even find himself. And, yeah, number 26 back there all the way in the back. Back in what position is he in? 27? He may have his way in for a win if he can hold on to it. All the drivers catch up to the pace car. And let's get us a quick replay here of exactly what happened just watching. It was, man, I tell you what, Jacob, that was a rough one.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely was. And we talked about, everybody's give-a-damn's going out the window right now, Bradley. You're going to see it again on the instant replay. 28. He was just keeping on coming down. He was trying to stop that middle lane. He was trying to stop Al Corey from getting that middle lane to advance. And then finally, he just had enough of it. Check it out. Right here's your instant replay. Corey's the one stuck smack dab in the middle. You got Persini all the way down there on the bottom. He's nowhere involved in it. Here he goes right here. The 28, Matthew Harmon. He just finally just has enough. And actually, yes, he just came straight down. and straight up hook Corey straight into the fence. Then you see everybody else taking abrasive action trying to be able to get around. AJ Benish also slipped up just a little bit and got into the outside retaining wall. Hopefully his car is not straight up total, but I think that was a side draft that went wrong 9 ways to Sunday. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. And that kind of aggressive racing, that is what's going to happen. People's going to get hooked. People's going to get turned. And wrecks are going to happen. But you got to be aggressive like that if you want to have a shot to win here at Talladega.
Dega's just about luck as much as it is skill here, and we see our lucky dog going around there. I called it, the number 26, Jaden Henry, getting waved around past the pace car, and now drivers are going to start slotting in. We've got drivers in the pits. We've got people everywhere. Ben Harkin, Will Jester, AJ Benish, Al Corey, Matt Harmon, Derek Catt into the pits there. And they are getting set up, splash and go, get things ready to go to get back underway once this pace car pulls off. We'll have just a few laps of action left to go here. And Jacob, I tell you what, ain't no reason to hold back at this point. You're at the end.
No, I mean, there's no sense in holding back. I mean, you can't hold back. I mean, if you hold back, what the hell is the point in even coming? I mean, really, and truthfully, what is the point of even showing up if you're just going to sit there and just hold back and pray they wreck? Honestly, Bradley, I was the same way. I used to be the same exact way when, I would go into official races, or I would have the mindset going into, super speedway races. And unless I'm racing for money, unless I'm racing for points, if I'm just racing for the hell of it, screw it. I'm going to the front now. If I'm racing for points to try to be there at the end, absolutely go for it. Or absolutely, right at the back. But, I mean, if you're going for it like these guys right here, especially at this point, it's all game right now. It is all take and do not give. And every single one of these guys up here know it. Matthew Persini leading the race. Ryan Hyatt, we talked about him, and the number 40. Good run for him. Started 14th. He is all the way up to second. And then Jason Benson started on the pole. He's going to be up here lined up in P number 3. John Barton from 23rd all the way up to 4th. Brian Cooper in that 96. Haven't talked a lot about him this evening. He will actually he will be in the 4th spot. So he will actually be ahead of John Barton. So Barton's actually going to be 6th. And then Jeff Slaughter is going to be in that 5th spot. John Campbell will restart in the 7th spot. Marty Rogers will be 8th. Chad Bear is going to be 9th. And Mike Weida will be 10th on this restart. And folks, I've said it on numerous broadcasts. I've said it numerous times. I've said it, in front of our producer, Dean Hopton, who has put it on some fantastic camera angles for us tonight. Talladega, Daytona, Superspeedway racing, it's just like going to a casino. Going up there to the roulette wheel, putting your money down on a driver and just spinning the ball and seeing whatever it lands on. Nobody knows who's going to win this race. You got the favorites, but you don't know who's really going to win this race because anything can still happen. Ain't that right, Bradley?
Absolutely. That's the fun of Dega. That's the fun of any super speedway race you watch is you can say what you want to say, you can think what you want to think, but it does not matter when it comes down to it because it's all about luck as much as it is skill. We've seen many drivers get their first win in NASCAR here at Talladega, at Daytona, just for the sake of they were just in the right place at the right time. And at this point, it's hold your breath and be at the right place in the right time because that driver down in P26, Jaden Henry, could find his way all the way forward and find himself in for the win, but we are going to find out very, very quickly because it'll be 6 to go when they cross the line, and it will be anyone's guess how things go because that pace car is about to pull off, and we are about to go back green flag running for 6 laps of hardcore action here in the Triple Bypass Racing League 69+1.
Persuni will be on the front row. Ryan Hyatt's going to be right beside of him. Jason Benson in that second row, as I mentioned, sitting third. Brian Cooper, like I said, we haven't talked a lot about him this evening. He started 29th. Tail end Charlie on the field, if you will. Now here he is, riding in 4th and got a shot to win it here at Talladega. They're in the restart zone. Green flag in the air. Matthew Persuni will take them to the green, but Ryan Hyatt, he gets a pretty good restart. He's all the way with Persuni at his door. Hopefully can get some help from Brian Cooper and get up here and give him a shove. Benson, he's going to get to the back bumper of the 24, try to give him a shove. Now, what's going to happen? Will we see 3 wide? Will we see somebody jump out of line? No question, somebody's going to do it, and there they go. John Barton in the 68. He jumps to the top. He's going to get the help from Marty Rogers. They are going to let it all hang out here tonight at Talladega and let it eat as John Barton makes a shot for the lead up on the top side.
John Barton's got Marty Rogers for help there, and you can see even more drivers behind him. He's got that number 13 behind him of Dustin Barton as well, trying to hold on, get in the mix. But look at that up front. That number 24, Matthew Perricini, is getting a good run on that inside line with the help of that number 42, Jason Benson, holding on. But at this point, you've got no friends as we hit 5 to go here this time by. No friends are going to help you out when it comes down to it. It's going to be every driver for themselves, and nobody's going to care when it comes down to the line. But right now, they're all going to play a little nice. They're going to try to find their friends and try to get themselves in a good position. And everybody, hold your breath, because here we go. That middle line's going to try to get a run, because that number 40 just opened things up there. Ryan Hyatt slid up high, and he took his help with him with Brian Cooper. That's going to open up things for number 56 of Mike Wida to try to slide through, and everybody's swirly again. I'm getting nervous here, Jacob, because these cars are struggling on them cooler tires to hold that straight line.
And here comes Cooper. He's going to try to jump up to the top. Nobody's able to get close to his back bumper to give him a shove, but they'll get there eventually. Cooper going to try to get the help from the 68, and John Barton gets to his back bumper. Now he's going to try to give him the shove. Here goes the 40. Ryan Hyde, he tried to jump up to the top, thought better of it. Mike Wedia still stuck in the middle lanes to see if he jumps up in front of Brian Cooper and try to see if they can get the top lane to advance. Right behind him, the 48, John Crutchley, one of the sponsors of this event here this evening, has come out of nowhere. Started 24th all the way up to 7th, but this middle lane starting to advance with Ryan Hyde and the 56 of Mike Weida. Now here comes the 96, Brian Cooper, trying to get the shove with John Barton, trying to get him to advance on the top side. Wow, big, hard racing going on up here as they are coming to 3 laps to go here at Talladega.
3 to go, and hold your breath as they come around. That number 96 is going to keep it on the high line there. He's still trying to find that help, but look at that, 42 and 56 running each other wide. That 56 gets hooked by the 96. He tried to follow the 40 through, and there's the big one. There's the big one we talked about, and that is surely going to be a caution. 45 is in it. The 32 is in it. So many cars are in it. I can't keep track, but here we go, and we saw it coming. I said you had no friends, and let me tell you, that's what happens when everybody's pushing. And Jacob, I tell you what, hold your breath, because we got to do this one more time.
Yeah, we're going to have to go to a green, white, checkered finish and check it out right here on the instant replay. And that was just a straight-up mix right there of Mike Weida trying to jump up in front of Brian Cooper, but he was not clear by a mile, ends up getting right hooked straight into the fence. And then everybody else, check that out right there. All 4 tires on that one driver completely left the ground. He was literally flying right there in the air, went straight in the wall. Check out it on instant replay once again. There's Weida, the 40 of height. He tried to jump up. Weida tried to follow him, but was not clear. Got right hooked straight off the right or straight off the bumper of Brian Cooper, set him into the fence. Then there goes the 32. Sean Bradley also getting involved in this right there. The 77 ends up getting involved. And then, wow, I mean, just some hard impacts with some of these guys. Check that out right there. I mean, he just straight up arca braked that guy. That's the guy that literally left the ground right there. As that guy, I don't even know whose number that was, but that was arca brakes by a mile right there, Bradley.
Man, you got cars on the lid, you got cars flung in the air. I tell you what, that's probably one of the best replays we've seen at Talladega in a while. That's going on iRacing Top 10 for sure, because that's a crazy wreck. But lots of the field got involved, and listen to the drivers right now, they're talking about it. They're saying, hey, what happened there? What happened? You know, how'd that end up? And now we extend for a green, white, checkered finish, and look at this sideways ride that you're going to get. Coming around, bouncing down, back on all 4s, and whoever that driver is, they get back going again. But all the drivers talking about it, how that happened, talking about what they're going to do here, and trying to make a plan, because it's green, white, checkered, and you get 2 attempts at a green, white, checkered here in iRacing. So we are going to line up for attempt 1 of 2, and if you don't know how the green, white, checkered works, you take the green flag, you take the white flag, and then you take the checkered flag to end it. So this it's going to be a good race coming up, Jacob. And, oh, man, I don't know how this is going to end.
I think we're going to end up having another caution, honestly, Bradley, because, I mean, these guys, I mean, they have put on a clean race so far, but all hell can break loose, and it just like it did just a second ago. And I wouldn't be surprised because we haven't seen, I mean, we've seen some aggressive racing, but we've seen what happens when they get aggressive. We've seen guys get hooked into the fence. We've already saw one big one. It's a good possibility that we can end up seeing another big one when this thing is all said and done here tonight. And folks, it's been a blast so far, but we have yet to settle it here for the Triple Bypass Racing League for the Drivers Appreciation 69.1 here with the Triple Bypass Racing League. My name is Jake Reeves, and got Bradley Dalton up here in the booth with Dean Hopton. Actually had a wreck right here on the backstretch. Not real sure exactly what happened right there, but somebody, I think they got turned on the backstretch. I'll try to figure out who that one was for you, but I mean, and Bradley, you talked about this as well. You talked about that this is probably going to go on iRacing's top 10 with how crazy that wreck was. I will about guarantee you that that's going to get clipped on my TikTok channel that we was talking about earlier on. And folks, if you don't, if this is your first time hearing it, go over to TikTok, subscribe, Redneck Announcer 57. I got numerous clips on there. I will guarantee you that right there, that clip will be on there later this evening.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of clips from this race that can end up on all social media. And I'll tell you one that I want to see, that number 7 of AJ Benish, looking like Denny Hamlin in that paint scheme. I haven't talked a lot about the paint schemes, and they're all gorgeous looking. Here's a replay of what happened on the backstretch, it looks like. And, yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Yeah, that replay going through of Derek Cat getting spun. That was weird. Seeing that, but now all the drivers lining back up. I think this is going to be last lap, and then we get our first attempt of 2 at this green-white checkered. Jacob, how do you think this green-white checkered is going to go? I think you already told it, but you expected another caution, I believe?
I'm expecting another caution. Honestly, I mean, I think that they're going to wreck like hell. Honestly, I mean, that's what we love to see, obviously, Bradley. I mean, we love to see crazy wrecks. We love to see crazy things happen. And I mean, honestly, I mean, it's like I said, we've already seen what happens. You know, with these guys, when they race calmly, everything is fine. But once, you know, the gloves are off and they've got to go, and they make some aggressive moves like we saw just a second ago. They tried to make an aggressive move. It was Mike Weida. Tried to make an aggressive move, thought he was clear. Tried to jump up there with a 40. He was not clear. Ends up right hooking himself straight into the fence, and then all hell breaks loose behind him. I think there'll probably be another caution, but if they can get back to the line and get this thing official, oh God, watch out, because that is when it will really break open wide big time.
Yeah, and at this point, it's all about the drivers need to hold on and just keep things going. And man, as they come here through turn 3, and everybody's just hold your breath and hold on. Like I said before, you got no friends going into this, and it's green-white checkered. You really ain't gonna have friends. When it comes down the line, it's all about who gets across that line. And one of the big things we always see with Dega is a wreck at the line going into that final race. And you know, one of the good things about this being a sim race is nobody gets hurt. We don't have to worry about any of the drivers getting hurt when we see them up in the fence, but it does make for some good action. And now that iRacing pace car peels off, and Jacob, we're taking it back green.
Yeah, we're ready to get this bad boy back rocking and rolling here in Sweet Home, Alabama, the heart of Dixie. Matthew Persuni will be on the lead. Ryan Hyatt's going to be right beside of him. Jason Benson, who we talked about, started on the pole, is going to be third. Jeff Slaughter, John Crutchley, and Sean Bradley up there as the top 6. And Matthew Persini gets on the gas, gasses it up, but Ryan Hyatt's able to get a pretty good restart. Both of them will go door to door as they go into turn 1.
And as we run into turn 1, look at this. That 46 is getting swirly. He didn't get a good run for some reason. He bogged a little bit. 42 and the 40 are bumping doors a little bit here. Everybody's just trying to hold on as best they can because they need to make it around to the line, hit that white flag, and then from there it's official. But look at this. This top line's going to run. Is anybody going to take it 3 wide? There's the 77. I knew if someone was going to do it, it was Sean Bradley. And he's got that 28 way a ways back for company. But will that 46 that Jeff Slaughter's been liking that high line, will he try to hold in? He's been running middle, but he really seems to like to be up in that high line from what I can tell. He's tried to move up there a few times. But as we go through, it's Hyatt and it's Pericini that are going to hold on. We're going to hit the white flag, I believe. And at this point, it is going to be official, whatever flag we see next. And here we go. White flag's underway. 48's going down low. And it's going to be 3 wide. What can the 24 and 40 do to hold it as we hit 1 to go here?
Ryan Hyatt's going to be right in the middle, and Persuni's going to be on the bottom. But Sean Bradley's still trying to see if he can work some magic. Try to get this top lane fired up. Matthew Harmon trying to give him a shove as they're wrecking behind him. You got the 117. John Campbell gets stuck up, but we take a look and stay with the race lead. Here goes Ryan Hyatt, started 14th, all the way up to the front as they're door banging right behind them. Slaughter and Benson door bang just a little bit. Bradley all the way on the top side, maybe even looking at a photo finish as they come to the line. Persuni down on the bottom. Hyatt all the way up top, looking 4 wide right for second as Hyatt's all by himself at the front of the field. Big crash behind him in the tri-oval, but Ryan Hyatt in the number 40 gets the win at Talladega. Holy hell, what a finish.
I tell you what, Ryan Hyatt ought to be happy with that. And I'll tell you who won't be happy with that is that number 24 car. He got absolutely clobbered there. Matthew Pericini got clobbered. I don't know what happened to him, but man, that was a photo finish, 4 wide through, and they're bumping and banging and running. They go to 3x3, and that number 40 just had enough of a run. Ryan Hyatt didn't have a thing to worry about as he crossed the line there. That is how you finish a race at Talladega.
I mean, and you just talked about it right there. I mean, that 24 of Matthew Persuni's got to be absolutely pissed right now. He had a fantastic run going on the bottom. He just got straight up slammed by John Crutchley, and we talked about the bumping and the tagging that you can do to try to advance yourself. Look at that right there. That was an absolute, man, that's even better right there with them smoking across the line. But you can't just go right up there and slam somebody in the back end, because that is exactly what's going to happen. And Persuni got involved in it. You had 2 wild, big wrecks to get to the end, and then you had an outstanding finish with Ryan Hyatt getting the win tonight. And there is the unofficial race results this evening. Ryan Hyatt ends up getting the win over Jeff Slaughter and Sean Bradley, who also finished on the podium. Jason Benson will finish 4th with Dustin Barton in the number 13. He will round out the top 5. Chad Bear will get 6th. Matthew Harmon gets 7th. Got Grant Parker. Pretty good run for him. Started 22nd all the way up to 8th. AJ Benish, the high side tickler in this race, he will end up finishing 9th. And Jaden Henry, one of those guys that got the lucky dog, was able to get back on the lead lap. He was able to secure himself a top 10 here this evening.
I told you before, Talladega is just as much about luck as it is skill, and Jaden Henry just goes to prove my point. Started way in 19th, ended up a lap down at one point, brought it together for P10. Looking at Ward Fisher and Mike Wita having some good runs. Derek Catt, Brian Cooper, Bryn Harcum, Alex Goff moving on down into P16. John Crutchley, Matthew Pericini, I got a feel for him because he ran up at the front for most of the race. Same with John Campbell, the 117, had a good run through. And then Kyle Gresh, our current points leader here in Triple Bypass Racing, down in 20th. And then you just got 10 more cars to finish it out.
Yeah, you got William Jester. He ends up finishing in the 21st spot. You got Masik Kashim will finish in the 22nd spot. Then you got John Barton. We talked about him. He done a fantastic job riding around up there at the front. Started 23rd. He ends up finishing 23rd here tonight. Marty Rogers will get 24th. Al Corey will end up finishing 25th. You got Ryan Murray in 26th. And Keith Hanlon will finish 27th. And then Cameron Kane, the last driver to take a time and be on the track tonight out of the 28 cars this evening, he will finish 6 laps down in the 28th spot. But that is all that we've got till we get somebody up here on the broadcast. But we got to have a talk with this number 40 and bring this number 40 up here. Ryan Wayne Hyatt that I am seeing right here, getting the win here tonight. Ryan, tell us about it, bud, because that was a hell of a finish all the way to the end.
That was very sketchy, but it was definitely fun for sure.
I mean, that's just short and sweet right there. I mean, but tell us about it. I mean, what was the secret to be able to get up there? Was it just straight up luck, or did you have some friends that kind of helped you out? Give us a little secret here, bud.
Well, definitely had some friends helping me. Cooper helped me get going on the next to last restart, and then Jeff Slaughter there, he kind of kept giving me good shots down the backstretch at getting to the line, and then once I saw the front bumper of Parasini there off of in the tri-oval, I knew that I could come down, and by then it was too late.
Ryan, I mean, just a fantastic race for you tonight, and I mean, tell everybody, what it was like out there. I mean, because we saw a lot of. I mean, what's going through your mindset when you hear 3 wide, 4 wide, and you're looking up in the mirror and you see people going everywhere? What's going through your mind when you're trying to figure out what run that you need to be? Because a lot of people sits there and says, well, Talladega, it's easy, just put your foot on the floor and just drive. But obviously it's a little bit more than that, because it's a lot more challenging than just putting your foot on the floor and turning left.
Yeah, there on the last restart, I kind of side drafted Benson a little bit too much, and I kind of touched him because I got a 0x pop up there on the top, and that kind of sketched me out a bit. But other than that, whenever it was 3 wide, just try to hold as steady a wheel as I can.
Ryan Hyatt talking about the little bit of a door banging that he had going on right there. But Ryan, I mean, fantastic finish tonight. Congratulations on the win. And before we let you go, have you got anybody that you want to thank that made this possible?
I want to thank the Jungle in Bristol, Virginia. That's probably one of my best friends. I don't know if you could really want to say it, but dispensary business here in Virginia where it's legal. So I want to thank him for being on board for tonight, because it's mad like a jungle out here at Talladega.
Always is. Always is. Ryan Hyatt getting the win tonight. Congratulations on the win, bud.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you all for broadcasting.
That was Ryan Hyatt. Got the win here tonight. Put on a hell of a display. And, I'm telling you, it was an awesome win. I mean, he was able to pump it up and get it out there. But, Bradley, have you caught up with our second place finisher, that being Jeff Slaughter?
Yeah, Jeff Slaughter, welcome in here. And kind of talk me through how that went through, because I'm going to steal your last name and say that was a bit of a slaughter that we watched at some points.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy at the end there. We were real tight there. Close finish for second. I mean, what were we, 4 or 5 wide? And we were just banging doors. It was crazy.
Kind of talk me through what your strategy was for surviving Talladega, because I've said it several times through the broadcast. I'll say it several more. It's just as much about luck as it is skill. And which way do you think you landed here tonight? Was it more luck, more skill, or you going to credit both?
I'd probably say it's a little bit of both. Like, I like to kind of hang out in the top 5 to 7 positions for most of the race. That seems to be like the safest spot, because if you're too far back, you kind of get caught in everything. And if you're in the middle, you get caught in everything. So you got to kind of start near the front and kind of stay there. That's the big thing.
Yeah, we saw a lot of back and forth and a lot of very, very clean racing going through the field. There was a lot of moments where it was 2 wide, 3 wide. Where did you try to find yourself? Did you want to be up high? Did you like the middle line, low line? What was your preference?
I like to be probably about the middle there. It was pretty good. I know I was middle 3 wide for probably a good long run, maybe about 10, 15 laps there. And it was pretty comfortable. The car kind of liked it a lot more there. So.
Absolutely. Well, very, very good run for P2. And as you said, y'all were 4 or 5 wide going into that. So good run. And congratulations there on that P2, Jeff Slaughter. Good job.
Awesome. Nice, guys. And great job for the broadcast, you guys as well.
And that was our second place finisher, Jeff Slaughter. And Jacob, I tell you what, that's a race.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic race, but we got to bring in the other guy that got out here on the podium. Got to bring in this number 77, Sean Bradley. And I mean, Sean, I brought you in here for, obviously for a post-race interview, but also I got to ask you, which button is it that you're using for the nitrous button? Because we saw you literally up there on the top side, did not have one bit of help at all. I mean, literally they had to be about 20 car lengths back, and you were still able to stay up on the top side, still able to stay with the leaders. And then eventually at one point you made it work and was able to get all the way to the front and lead for a good portion of this race.
Yeah, I don't know. The top lane just was working really well for me, and I kind of kept that to myself. I didn't want a whole lot of help because maybe they would start figuring out that the top lane was really fast. So it kind of worked out for me. It was a side draft that was keeping me up with everybody, and it was really hard work to get ahead of someone. But it worked out.
It absolutely did. And I mean, we saw the wreck that happened just before this, where it brought it to a green-white checkered, where I believe it was Mike Weeda got right hooked right there on the outside, and it looked like you may have got into it a little bit. I think looking back on it, I think you might have just missed it. I'm not real sure because we was trying to pick your car out here on the broadcast, and there was just so much crap going on at one time. We was trying to figure out who was what. But I mean, did it scare you just a little bit seeing that right there, knowing that it was going to be a green-white checkered and all hell could break loose right there at the end? Or was it just, hey, business as usual, you just got to go for it?
Well, first off, I did get a piece of that wreck. I got door slammed, and I had JC behind me take a look to tell me how bad it was, and he said it looked pretty good. So I said, "All right, game on." And but when that second wreck happened, when the green white checkered happened, I was actually excited because I was in P6. I knew that I could jump back into my best friend, the top lane there, and try to get for the lead.
Awesome job with the 77. Sean Bradley able to bring it home on a podium here this evening. And Sean, before we let you go, have you got anybody that you want to thank that made this possible?
No, just a shout out to my wife Sarah for letting me have some time on racing. Probably too much, but yeah, that's all.
Yeah, that sounds like my wife right there, big time, honestly. So I'm in the same boat with you right there, Sean. But Sean Bradley getting the third place tonight. Obviously wanted to win, but he'll be happy with a podium finish. Sean Bradley, congratulations on that podium.
Thank you, sir.
That was Sean Bradley that getting the third place finish. And there you see the results on your screen. And I mean, Bradley, any final thoughts, any closing thoughts as we wrap up this broadcast?
That's probably the cleanest super speedway race that I've gotten to have any involvement on in a long time. Drivers very, very respectful, pushing things through, but man, when things erupted, they erupt, and it gave for a great broadcast that I'm gonna have to go back and watch after this because I was too busy watching some things that I think I missed some other things.
Yeah, I mean that's what Talladega is. I mean, it will make you see things that you want to see, but then there's certain things that you wanted to see, but you just didn't have time to see it because you was looking at something else, because that's what Talladega always produces. Like I said, I've been going here numerous years. I was here back in the fall race for the NASCAR Cup Series, had an outstanding time with my wife, and hopefully we can go back. I mean, it's like I said earlier, this place is a second home to me, and I absolutely love this place. Sometimes love it when I'm racing, sometimes I don't, because usually I end up on the end of a tow truck. But I mean, that's what you get when you race here at Talladega. But folks, I believe that's going to wrap up this broadcast. We want to congratulate Ryan Hyatt on the win here tonight. Put on a fantastic finish or put on a fantastic race and was there at the end when it counted. We also want to thank everybody over at JPB Broadcasting and also the Triple Bypass Racing League for all that they do for us as well. Ryan Hyatt, once again, getting the win here tonight at the Driver Appreciation 69+1. I am the redneck announcer, Jake Reeves, with Bradley Dalton up here in the booth, and Dean Hopton was on the controls here tonight, giving you these fantastic camera angles. Once again, congratulations to Ryan Hyatt on the win here tonight at Talladega, and we will see you down the road. Everybody be safe.